might as well get started. It's going to be nice and personalized for the two of you since you're the only two here. So why don't we start by talking about what experience each of you has using Command to market yourselves.
Just keeping a compilation of my clients so that I can be organized, but we call that, I guess, CMA or whatever. Maybe not CMA, but the database we got the
CRM.
Yeah. I've also sent out some placards, I believe, from this, or maybe I had to upload it into the program. I forget. It's a while ago.
So you sent like some postcards out through.
Yeah, I think you guys integrated it more so, or even replaced that. But I did something better.
Yeah, there have been some updates to a lot of the outbound marketing stuff.
Pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
I probably won't remember how to do it, right away, but it's pretty self-explanatory to get in there.
Yeah. What about you, Deborah?
I routinely send out use Command for Instagram and Facebook posts. They usually upload photographs, images from something that I made. Usually they're putting text on a picture and I can't figure out how to do it in their way. And pictures I grab them on Splash or my camera. I figured out how to go to design and make flyers like for open houses, but I haven't figured out other things to make. I can't grab so designs. I'm still sort of learning. We haven't figured out how to save a logo, but somehow that's undone. So now it's nice because I used to have a logo from my native post, and I can either background, white background, white color. I send out text messages. So I've created a smart plan with Jamie and a couple of smart plans for first responders. So use everything those. I'm starting to use more smart plans. I haven't figured out how to send videos. I'm still, working on design stuff. So awesome.
All right, so there's a couple things that I want to go over today. Some of these things will change we don't have an exact time frame, but at some point in Q3, KW is officially launching the partnership with Canva. So some of this will change in that time, but a lot of it will stay the same, and a lot of the concepts will stay the same. It's just going to be a different platform that you're using to create the actual materials. So the first thing that I always like to go over whenever we're talking about any of this marketing stuff is how to update your marketing profile. This is actually going to become important too in the next couple days as we officially move the address from Walnut Street to here. It'll be something that you want to update. So you just click on your name up here, go down to settings, go over to connect settings, and then marketing profile. So I am going to come in here and just adjust my merge address. So we'll do 728 Broad Street, still Philadelphia, but it is now 19146. And everyone else is good. So you can adjust any and all of your information here, your photos, if you're in a team, your team logo, all that good stuff. If you want to put the information on social media here, and then you always want to hit save when you're done to make sure that it saves correctly. This is where your agent website and your marketing materials pull your information from. So you always want to make sure that this is kept up to date. So let's jump over to designs. And we're going to start with everything but email. Well, we'll start with social or print.
Sorry, 1 second. So if you're in Command, one of the icons I haven't been in it in a while. So if you're in Command, one of the icons on the side will just say design.
Yeah, so it's the one that looks like a
Okay.
little paintbrush over a canvas.
I didn't know it was like, already set up to be inconvenient on backwards. I would need like,
Yeah, you can go right here to make a whole bunch of stuff. So, like I said, we're gonna start with social and print. We'll get to email and video in a minute. Doesn't really matter if you click social or print; they're gonna take you to the same place. So there's a whole bunch of brand new templates around Mega Agent Cam. It's funny, it's actually what I was about to talk about. So before we get into actually working with the templates or anything, I want to take you to assets. So this is where you can come in and kind of really set yourself up with your branding, your logos, and all of that stuff. So you can put in certain color palettes that you want to work with as your main color schemes. You can have certain fonts that are your fonts. So one of the important things with any sort of advertising is consistency. You want to have consistent colors, consistent fonts, consistent styles, so that when someone sees a piece of marketing, it's recognizable as yours. People will start to, as they're scrolling through their Facebook, for instance, it'll catch their eye and they'll recognize and stop and slow down and engage in a different way because they recognize what they're seeing is related to you. So you can come in here, do colors and fonts. You can have certain images that you upload that you use frequently. You can have certain pieces of text that you come in and use. Let me actually make sure. Personnel. So jump back there. Just want to make sure I was on the personal side. So text, for instance, you can have your ownership statement, so you can quickly and easily put each office that have owned and operated. You can also company assets. That's a lot. I'm looking for my assets. Yeah, so you can have your phone number that's easy for you to grab. You can have your bio that's easy for you to grab. Your website. So there can be certain text items here that you are quickly and easily able to drop in. So now
like you could make one for like open houses or one for whatever.
Yeah, if you have like a slogan that you like to drop in, if you have some compliance and regulatory information you like to drop in, anything that you are going to use frequently, might as well make it an asset so that it's very quick and easy. Instead of you having to type it out every time, it's quick and easy for you to grab that asset and drop it in. Logos, obviously, you can put in, various logos. Images, you can do, your headshots. If you have little, what's the word I'm looking for? You have little images, like if you have a special image of like a stone sign or something like that that you like to incorporate, you can include those in your image assets to make it easy for you to grab them. You can even have videos as assets or certain files. Files, there's less use case for. And then elements can be, stickers, objects, shapes, icons, little flashy pieces that you can incorporate into your designs. But for most people, logos, text, images, colors, and fonts, they're really going to be your bread and butter to make sure that the things that are aligned with your branding and your consistent marketing story are very easy for you to hold when you need them. So let's
Same
take a look.
question.
Yeah.
Those, that logo, so you have the ones that take on the background, whatever is behind it, and then ones that are solid, is there a different way to upload one versus the other?
So typically, you'll see like this little like checkered background. Typically those logos are saved as PNG files. JPEGs tend to have a background. So you'll be able to identify them that way. But if you go to the dashboard, you can find the folder with the logos. And I believe that they are all sans background. So if we jump to templates, there are a ton of different options, so you have everything from, your buyer presentations and listing presentations to coming soons, just listed, open houses. Open houses are always nice and easy, so let's work with some of those. This is a new one, so we'll kind of grab this guy. There is this auto feature. So for the auto feature, you just find the listing. So we'll do 20 Belmont. It's gonna think really hard about it. Doesn't usually take this long. It's probably just our Wi-Fi in here today.
A couple times yesterday, I couldn't sign into the command.
So command has had a couple of problems over the last couple of days that have been rectified fairly quickly. And the other day, towards the end of the day, luckily, Comcast had a full shutdown, and I suspect that it was just equipment overheating at one of their hubs. It's very difficult to keep equipment cool enough in this kind of weather.
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh the page and see if that helps us.
So this one is listed like 2 pages.
I don't believe this one. This is my first time using this template, so it's one of the newer ones.
Okay. I hope you're going to talk about the ones that are 1 versus 2 pages and what
Oh yeah. We can go into that. All right. Well, it seems like this is being a little persnickety today, but generally speaking, you just pop in your listing, you find it, select it, and then it's going to auto-populate the templates with your own content, exactly how it says. And then you can say like, all right, yeah, I want to add this logo and this information and these images that'll pull right from the MLS listing, and then you hit continue, and it goes through. But let's just hit use and go through it manually. So yes, it looks like this one is 2 pages. And essentially when it comes to social media stuff, all that really means is that there are 2 separate image files that you want to download. So if I come in here and I say download, I can select the file type. And what I'll usually do for these is I'll just select 1 page at a time, download them as separate files, and then when you go to social media, you can just upload as separate files, and it'll just show up normally. If you want to edit 1 page versus the other, you're just going down to the little pages button over here, and then you're flipping between pages. And this is, again, where your assets can come into play. So if I go ahead and click on this logo, if it's going to pull up the logos folder. I just go to my assets, and then boom, I can just replace with the KW Powered logo. If I want to drop my headshot in, I can just click to add my headshot, and then I can resize and bring it wherever I want. And I can do that with any of my assets. Just quickly and easily find them in the corresponding section here. So, image assets, boom, you know what? This open house needs my cat there. So we're going to resize Noah, we're going to drag him over here, and all of a sudden he's a part of the design. It's quick and easy to do that, and you don't have to re-upload anything. Your assets just kind of live there for you. Same thing with text. If I decided that I wanted to go in and make sure that I'm adding my phone number, right? I'm just going to go click it, and then it's going to show up here. And then I can just adjust the color of the text so that it's more visible on this background. I can click and drag it wherever I want. I can do that with any of my text assets. There's a cool new QR code feature on here where you can just pop in a link and it's going to automatically create a QR code that you can put onto your design. So this is particularly helpful for print materials that you create. So if you have listing presentations, flyers, things like that, you don't have to worry about going to a separate site. You just pop in your URL. It's going to create it for you. And then you generate your QR code. The KWLS section here is really cool. And this is something that I was very happy to hear is going to carry over to the Canva integration, as currently Canva doesn't have any integrations with the MLSs. But everything KW, we like to integrate with the MLS to make your life easier. So if I come in here and I say, all right, 720 Belmont tab, search. Sign in again, apparently.
So LS stands for listing system?
Yeah, I mean, it's instead of MLS multiple listing service, it's KWLS, Keller Williams listing service.
Huh.
My credentials were not invalid, I promise you. Alright, well, let's see if it's going to, let me do a snapshot to show you. The listing, you find your listing, and it's easy to click and replace the photos the same way you would with any other photos. It will pull everything from the MLS directly in there. So, let's see if it'll let me search by city. Well, it still wants me to be logged into the Keller Cloud, which is super already. So maybe their equipment's still having some issues today. The neighborhood snapshots, though, I think are something that's very underutilized because it's doing a lot of the lifting for you, pulling market data. So we can search by postal code, do 10146. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I have the stamp.
And it's going to pull different information about the zip code. Of course, for some reason, it doesn't seem to be pulling.
Are you putting this information on QR code link?
So you can use it in these different formats that it has here. So I'm doing 103 that's written half square. So let's see what the market's doing at what I'm.
It's nice, because I always try to use zip codes with neighborhood direction, and it doesn't work. Actual neighborhood.
I apologize if this does not seem to want to work properly today. Let's try refresh refreshing this again. Let's try to see how finally. I'm sorry, I do not know what is going on with this today. Does not seem to want to cooperate.
Weekend parks not after them, they make it ready. Last night it was shut down because of the heat, so. And then for the week.
Well, let's then go to design that I have already has a market snapshot in there for me to show you. Alright, so this is a demo that I created where you can see this is one of the layouts for your marketing snapshots. Where you will take a look and say, all right, what's the average listing price, average sold price, total active, total pending, average days on market, average price per square foot. And there's a couple different formats you can put this in. This is one of the, this is going to be extended format. You can do one that's a little bit more truncated, but the point is that it is pulling the information for you. You don't have to go searching through the MLS to pull the data. It's doing all that work for you. Now, it is, as it says, a snapshot. So it is not like updating in real time or anything. It is grabbing. So typically, you know, when you are posting something about, you know, that includes one of these, it may be worth throwing in a little disclaimer that, you know, hey, these statistics are updated as of whatever date it was that you happened to pull them. Because there are going to be people out there everywhere that want to say, well, that's not right. I saw, no, it is right. It's just as of this specific date. You can play with animation. So, you know, in old PowerPoint days, you have your swing in, your bounce in, your fade in. Rotate this in from left. And once you do that, that only renders in certain file types. So if you're downloading something with video animation, you want to select download video and get. If you select, you know, JPEG or PNG or PDF, those formats do not include animation. So just keep in mind if you're playing with any of that stuff, download it as video and GIF.
We downloaded the video and we use it in a command-based, web-based,
Yeah. So, well, I'll get to those in a minute and show you. For the time being, I want to show you one of the other very underutilized aspects of designs, and that is the video designs. You can select video, and then say, all right, you know what, 08108. The whole system connected to the LS seems to be a little bumpy today. Alright, let's just select one of these here. It's an interesting place for us to we'll send all this in Canada. So we're gonna go with Brookville. So next. It's going to pull this information. You can manually adjust it if you see the need to, but generally speaking, this is going to be accurate since, again, pulling the MLS data. You can select some neighborhood features. So, hey, it's a book-loving neighborhood with activism and they're artsy. You'll make sure that your information is correct, and again, it's pulling from your marketing profile. Make sure your brokerage information is correct, and that's pulling from your marketing profile. And it'll hit next. That's going to generate the video for you. It says this may take up to 10 seconds. I've seen it take more like 20 seconds. A lot of this depends on internet speed. For the weather. Or maybe I've angered the command gods, because this just doesn't seem to want to work today.
The problem with in command or with the internet?
It's hard to say. Let's see. All right, here's one of those videos that I made. Let's see if it lets me demonstrate it for you. So, makes a cute little video for you that is nice and easy to share out with your spheres to give them that little update on whatever neighborhood, whatever area. Let's see if it wants to be more cooperative if we do an email design. So a lot of the things that we can do in the social media and print designs, we can also do in the email designs. So again, we have a whole bunch of different options that we can just go in and replace. So if I want to replace this image, I can come in here and you'll see my images that I've used before. You can also go to listing image, and then you can search by property address. So, instead of searching, I'm just going to click on one of these guys. This one looks nice. All right, we're going to replace with that image. You can have your images linked to certain, you can have it linked to a landing page, web address. You can adjust the styling, so you can adjust the width, you can add some padding, you can move the position of it. This is 100% width, so moving the position is not going to do anything for this one, but you have nice control over those. And if you want to add something in, you have all your options here. So up top is your layout options. You can come in and say, you know what, I want to do a 3 by 7. So I'm going to do a listing block in here. And I'm going to do, maybe open listing. Select. And then say 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Do it here, and maybe we want to add that market snapshot over here. And drop it in. You can already see it's saying like, all right, active statistics, sold statistics, and then you just search. So let's search 08108, and we'll say, like stuff for Westmont. Boom, it's pulling all the market trend information for that area. You can also adjust the background. So if you want to change the background color, you can change the background color and have it be whatever you would like it to be. You want to do full on dark mode. You want to have it just have a hint of KW red in there, and you can do whatever you'd like with the background.
You can pull the KW colors from KW answers.
Mm-hmm. You can drop videos in here. So I'll come over here, say I'll drop a video, then you can enter the video URL. So the one thing with these videos is that it needs to be hosted somewhere. You can't drop just a file in. So you can link to something on YouTube, you can link to something on Vimeo. There are a whole bunch of different video hosting websites that you can have your videos dropped in. To get rid of that. And then, you know, typically the templates already have it, but if you're doing something that's not templated, just always drop in a legal footer. It's going to pre-populate with a whole bunch of your information. You know, and the legal header is never a bad idea either. The legal header goes in there, and again, we'll have a whole bunch of your information. You can drop in buttons, text, so it's really nice and easy to, this one looks a little funky because I made it green, but, you know, there's a couple, what do I have? Yes, this is a demo that I did. You know, it makes it look nice and professional. You can use merge tags in here, so that's why before you hit preview, it looks a little funky, you know, especially in the legal header and legal footer, because these are all unresolved merge tags, but even in the text area here, so I can come in and I can say, contact first name. And now everyone that this goes to, it's going to show their name in there. So you're doing a preview, you can actually even say, like, all right, I want this one to go to this contact, and it's going to pull their first name in there.
So the buttons, you can do like a link to your calendar.
Yep. Yeah, and you don't have to use the buttons for links either. You can add links to the images. So depending on, like, the buttons are great because you can usually put in a call to action in there, like click here to learn more or view details, you know, and that kind of directs people to click it. But you can also incorporate links into the images themselves. Close out without saving.
Then to email it, you would download it and then upload it to email, or would you just
You just send it out with command.
share and then select your.
Yeah, so you once you save the design, it's saved to your designs themselves. And I can come in here and I can say, you know, all right, I'm gonna well, this person's emails are bouncing, so if I say something, that's fine. So I can just check them off, and then go.
Take this template that you made for email and then make it into a mailer quickly, or you just like cut and paste it type of guy.
So, because of the way that the emails are coded, it's not as clean cut.
I got
with
you.
that. Yeah. Especially because they incorporate those merge tags. You know, there's if you're downloading it, they're not resolving because they're not checking against something else. But I can come in here. I can select any or all of my contacts. I can use a bulk action to say send email. You use a bulk action even if it's just a one. And then I can just come in here and say add design. And then select whatever design you happen to want to use. This is the April newsletter that we publish for all our agents. And say select design, put in the subject line, and then you're good to go. If you are not using a design and you want to send an email, there are a couple new options too. where you can add a signature. So you can say add new signature, and then the same way you would in Gmail or anything like that, put a name for your signature, and then build your signature out here. So depending on how you build the signature, you're either dropping an image file in here, or you're copy and pasting something, and whatever the case may be. But the same way that you have signatures on things that go out from your Gmail accounts, you can have that go out with your KW emails as well. Something else that I always like to point out that not a lot of people are aware of is that in your listing opportunities, so let's go this guy here. If I go into any of my listing opportunities, there is a tab that says marketing. And based on where this opportunity is in the pipeline, it's going to have recommended designs. So this one just closed, so it's recommending just sold flyer, just sold social posts. Whereas if I go back and there's something that is in the active, the marketing suggestions will be for sale, just listed, open house. So it's going to recommend to you, hey, based on where this opportunity is, these are designs that we recommend. So it's nice and easy as you're working your opportunity to say, like, all right, I'm going to come in here and just make some marketing materials for that opportunity.
That's great. There's not a lot I can think of to do for leasing clients.
So, let's see, I don't actually remember if leases don't have a marketing tab yet. I don't think that buyers do either. I think it's just for listings currently. So the idea is that you're marketing your listings aggressively. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really wanted to cover. Oh yeah, I wanted to show in campaigns just how to do social posts. So it's nice and easy when you're in here. I usually expand out to month view, and if you're anything like me, your creative juices don't always flow exactly when you want them to. So what I know a lot of agents do is they pick a day each month. So maybe it's the first of the month. They go in there, they create just about all their marketing for the month, and then they'll spread it out and they'll schedule it out. So, I wanted to schedule out something for July and say, all right, you know what? On the 4th of July, I want to schedule this post to go out. Then I can just come in here and add content. So if I want to add media, I can browse files, I can browse designs. So I can come in here and say, all right, here's all the designs that I've made. I just want to add these in. So let's go select this one so we can see what that ends up looking like. So you get it cooperates and they got it selected. When it decides to cooperate, this is how you pull in sides. Say invalid image. I don't like that. Here we go. This one looks like it's working. No, that wasn't ready to use either. We're just batting 1,000 tonight. But this is where you grab your media from. You can also browse your files on your computer. You can also incorporate fun emojis. You pop in your text and everything that you do over here. So say this is social. Everything you do over here, you'll be able to see reflected in the preview over there. So excited, we'll put in a happy emoji. You can include ownership statement or DBA logo if you so choose. And again, if you select DBA logo, you can browse for it, include ownership statement, make sure that it's correct, and then you hit apply. And then you can schedule it out for whatever day and time you want, or you can publish things immediately. But with this, you can sit there and schedule out a month or more of social media content. So there's no restriction on how far out you can post. You know, I can go out, I can post something in September, and it's totally fine. So I encourage people to, when you feel the creative urge, create a whole bunch of stuff that you can use when you are not feeling quite as creative. Anyone have any questions on any of what we covered, or anything that you were hoping we would cover that we didn't?
I kind of a question, you kind of highlighted it once, it's not really about what we talked about, it's just where we have to change our signatures because of the, the change in address. Like, probably the trend, my email, anywhere else, showing time. Are they gonna take care of it for anywhere with us?
So we're going to update the office address with Bright, so
Right,
you
okay,
shouldn't
that's
have to
fine.
do that. You know, you're still going to be associated with the office.
And the license itself with the state, you gotta take them care of.
We're taken care of, with the state. There may be, and this is something that like Tara and Tori and Ella will know more about and communicate with you guys more about. There may be something that they need the agents themselves to do, but I don't think so. Don't quote me on it. No, it's not a minute market. But we're taking care of the state. We're taking care of Bright. The big thing that agents need to do themselves is just go in and adjust your marketing profile. Because
That's what I meant. Gotta say command.
yeah. All right. Well, that's part of the course.
I don't even want to know what yours is now, it's not working.
Yeah, I don't know what they got going on.
So we put fourth floor on Walnut, we don't have to put third floor.
We should put third floor for this address. Just because the first two floors are not us. It's Brandon West Associates.
Yeah.
So I would always put third floor. That way, especially if anyone sends any mail, it finds its way correctly. We just had one of our vendors sending mail, trying to get, send statements, billing statements to us. They were going to Brandywine, and all of a sudden we get sent to collections. I'm like, but I never received a bill. So, put third floor for everything. And then if you ever have questions about your marketing materials and whether or not you're compliant, that lovely lady right out there is always welcome to, is always willing and happy to review marketing materials to make sure that everything is the way it needs to be.
That was one of my next questions is, when it's gonna get intuitive, be like, hey, forgot to put on this, like, whatever get to that?
So there's a lot of those guardrails already in what we talked about. So like I said, when you're doing some of these designs, like the email designs, for instance, drag over a legal footer, drag over a legal header. That stuff is already built out to be compliant. When you are, setting up your social media posts, include your ownership statement, include the logo, because that covers a good amount of compliance. The issue is that the compliance regulations are a little bit different for every state, so it's hard to do like a one size fits all in every scenario. Generally speaking though, like the number one rule of thumb that you should live by is when you are looking at any piece of marketing, is it clear what the brokerage is versus what the salesperson is? And is it clear how Joe Public gets in touch with Vicky? Because that's really the big thing that those regulations are designed to do, is to make sure that if a consumer needs to get in touch with your broker for any reason, that it's easy for them to figure out how to do so. So that's where a lot of those, the brokerage logo has to be, larger than your logo. The brokerage address and phone number has to be larger than your address and phone number. It's all about highlighting the brokerage and the broker to make sure that the public can find them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll let you guys go, but thank you for hanging in with me. Any questions, you know where to find me.